A very well-known abstinence speaker, Pam Stenzel, says this: "The great thing about abstinence is that there are no losers." I've personally seen the effect of the lack of abstinence in public schools. When I used to speak at public schools about character building and peer pressure, this was the one subject that if I ever said abstaining from sex, the kids would just look at me in awe and have a blank stare on their face as if they didn't even know abstaining from sex until marriage was a viable option. Teenagers and kids need to know that abstinence is a viable option for them. And if they do choose to do it, that they will be supported from their community, their school, their family, and their church. I'm going to talk to you today about abstinence awareness and the importance of encouraging our kids and teens, how important abstaining from sex until marriage is for their lives. God's desire for each one of us is to wait until we are married to have sex. In 1 Corinthians 6:18 in the New International Version, it says, "Run from sexual sin. No other sin so clearly affects the body as this one does. For sexual immorality is a sin against your own body." We're going to discuss the consequences of sexually active teens, the cause of their lack of abstinence from sex, and what we can do to help them make wiser, better decisions. Consequences of sexually active teens. Every year in the U.S., 12 million people get STDs, and 3 million of those are teens. 1 out of every 4 teens is sexually active, and that is from the book Sex Has a Price Tag. Also from that book, 13% of all teens will contract an STD every year. And in 2009, around 410,000 teenage girls ages 15 to 19 gave birth in the United States, and that is from CNN Health. Many studies have also shown that above the physical repercussions of sex before marriage, as far as getting pregnant as a teenager or STDs, is also the emotional awareness of what this causes. Research is finding that early sexual activity is a substantial factor in undermining the emotional well-being of American teenagers. The main causes for lack of abstinence from sex, according to the website by parentsforparents.com, an article discusses with a few causes in teens not abstaining from sex. 2 of them, parents not having a sex talk with them and leaving that up to the school system or the church to express what abstaining from sex is and how to do that. And also, the sex education is outdated. Kids don't relate. The only thing that is updated are the statistics. So kids feel that they can't relate to these people. So those 2 make them feel like they can't confide in anybody about this subject or anybody can understand them. So what can we do? We can raise awareness for parents and teachers in the school system. As parents and teachers, the school system or church, possibly both, should have an every 6-month or every year free course on sexual teen statistics. They need to know what they need to look for, what they need to know, and how to talk to their children and students in a healthy manner about sex. We have to raise awareness among our parents, teachers, and community. Students in middle school and high school should have some sort of mentor, someone in their community, especially if this is for me, this is Christ-based. This is biblical-based, as we just talked about. So I would prefer a Christian mentor. As our responsibility, we must mentor younger people to what God desires for their lives, and purity is one of those, and that is abstaining from sex until marriage. Rebecca St. James once said this: "These youths desperately need the godly influencing that mentoring can provide," and I agree with her. If the government and school system will not step up and continue to teach these students and update their information and videos to relate to them, then we as the church have a responsibility to step up and teach our kids what abstaining from sex looks like and why they should do it and how they can do it. God values sexual purity. Donald Alban Jr. said that. As the church, we know that God desires for us to wait until marriage for sex. As I said before, 1 Corinthians 6:18 says, "Run from sexual sin. No other sin is so clearly affects the body as this one does. For sexual immorality is a sin against your own body." We cannot continue to know this scripture and continue to let our kids and our teenagers make terrible, terrible decisions about this subject in their life as if it's no big deal. We know what the consequences are for these teens and these kids when they do not abstain from sex. We also know why there's a lack of them not wanting to abstain. And as Christian adults, we have to take responsibility to promote and encourage sexual purity to other young people in America today. Teenagers and kids need to know that abstinence is a viable option for them. We can't continue to let them wreck their lives over such a crucial matter. Abstaining from sex is a viable and possible option for them. And I brought with me today a binder that actually has some abstinent materials from Lockport CareNet, which is local here that teach in public schools a Christian method of purity and abstaining from sex. If you guys would like to look at that, I appreciate you listening. Thank you.